And now a word from our sponsors.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Welcome to a new episode of Word from our sponsors. It's your host, Ricky. I got one of my boys from the timeline dropping in to chop up some Summer League basketball with me, co-host of the Temple of Hoops podcast, none other than Kings. Kings, how you doing today, bro?
Hey, man, we doing good. Kind of came back in from Vegas yesterday. Ready to, talk about the things I've seen on Summer League, both in the two live games I watched as well as the games I was watching on TV before that. Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. It was a great experience for me. So shout out Blue Wire, shout out Maples, Temple of Hoop. We'll be there again next year, and hopefully we're going to be there for the full weekend.
We talked a little bit before the show. I got to get out there. I got to see it. I got to experience it myself. But I think one thing about Summer League for me personally, and one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on is I don't give a shit, to be honest with you, bro. I don't care about college sports pretty much across the board until those athletes make it to the NBA. On the other end of that, Kings, I support everyone. I don't say nobody's trash in college. If they are an NBA prospect, they're an NBA prospect for a reason. Long story short, I have a blind spot for the youngins and when they come in, and that's from Cade Cunningham all the way down to your second round sleeper picks, bro.
Right.
What are some of the things that you look for, and even in the Summer League games that you're looking for in these guys that say, you know what, that boy gonna be around? Maybe not for this team, maybe not even in the league right now, but he has the tools to be an NBA player.
Yeah, so I used to be like super into college when I was younger. Because I was an athlete in high school, so I was super into all levels of the game. I stayed with it when I got to college. Even when I was walking on for football at SJSU, I still stayed tuned in. Once the labor situation with guys, getting free labor basically for NCAA, that kind of turned me off to watching it. But I did stay in tune with who was top recruits. Who's the top talents, because that those are guys who are going to play at the next level. So I was always in tune with the scouting aspect of it, trying to see some film here and there about certain guys who people like. So for me, when I look at how I've watched all levels of hoop and how I've seen these type of different talents come in, you gotta have it's gotta be two things. One, you definitely have to have an NBA type of body somehow, some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like you look at someone like Jalen Green, who he may not have the NBA strength, but he got the NBA athleticism. I mean, this guy super fluid, long, can jump, has great speed, great quickness. So even if he's not strong yet, he's still gonna be able to be very successful from the beginning, scoring wise, because he got the NBA athleticism already, right? And then you have somebody like Cade Cunningham, NBA ready value already. You got someone like Luka. Yeah, he was slow, but again, NBA size, he was strong. You know what I mean? He had great counters to go with his size, so he was already able to adapt. You have to have an NBA body or some type of NBA physical trait to even have a chance, like in the league. Like you just have to have it. If you don't have it, you're done. Like that's just the bottom line. And then number two for me, when you get to the NBA, right? Like you're gonna be feeling a role. You know what I mean? So
yep. Talk about it.
You can't be a guy who's just decent at everything. It has to be one skill that you can do that puts you in the top of people at that certain type of trait.
Top 15, top 20 at that skill.
That skill. So you see guys like David Mitchell, right? Lottery pick strictly off defense, man. I mean, he had special tools defensively. Whether they let him defend like that, the NBA level or not, yet to be seen. But you see it. He's like the Lou Dort type of player, man. They just special perimeter defenders. Like you got to take chance on those guys because that's just a special talent. And then you got, the Murphys, right? The Troy Murphys, right? They just got the burner on them. Like they just hit threes. Same thing you're kind of seeing with Moody. They can just shoot from anywhere. You know what I mean? That's one of the most coveted skills in the league. That's always going to keep you, your name hot with these scouts because, man, this guy can shoot. He can really shoot. You know what I'm saying? And then you got guys like Giddey, who are scouts will say, oh, he's really got a good feel for the game. He can pass. You know what I mean? He's a great passer who they feel like. That's the same thing that Raptors people were looking at with Scotty Barnes. If you're gonna be like a jack of all trades, you know what I mean? You have to be really good at everything, which is like the Suggs. Like Suggs is projected to be really good defensively. He got good feel for the game, and he has good NBA body. So he's like good at everything. He's not decent at everything, right? He's good at all of these traits in a way where they can say you can be a really good overall player. So you really just have to have NBA ready skill either in one area or just really be like, okay, you check off the boxes in all areas in a proficient manner. You know what I mean? It can't be one of those things where it's just like, oh, you kind of okay at all of these things.
Yeah.
Maybe
a decent shooter. And he plays defense, and he likes to rebound. He likes to rebound. Like, I'm not getting a whole lot real right there. You said Jalen, and he was, in all honesty, like I've caught a Cade game, I caught a Jalen game. One thing that I saw in Suggs, and I was like, yep, I'm in. Got the burner on him, runs still back on defense. There was a 2-on-1 fast break that he stopped single-handedly at the rim. And I'm just like, you know what? 22-year-olds and lower, for the most part, they don't give a shit about defense of the ball. They know that they ticket to the league is putting the ball in the basket or just being an out-of-this-world playmaker for somebody else. And to see that Suggs had that in his toolbox already, just off rip, to me, I'm like, all right, that boy's going to be around for a very long time. And I know, obviously that's skimming off the top and looking at, the lottery picks and saying, oh, yeah, he's going to be good. But at the end of the day, I know 8 of these lottery picks, 9 of these lottery picks aren't going to be more than rotation players on the team. And that's probably what frustrates me most about folks that want to project out, college players. And even during the NBA draft, and you see, who they most resemble and what is their, peak. Like I saw somebody that was supposed to be a mix of like Chris Bosh and
that was my guy Mobley, man.
Okay. Isn't that a little unfair? Why can't he just be fucking Mobley out there and just like, hey, we gonna watch him develop, and if the defense reminds you of so-and-so or the offense just do it like that. Do you think anyone's just fit in the box of, yep, he was Tim Duncan, we projected him to be, he was just a lesser Tim Duncan or anything like that?
I mean, if people said that Kobe reminded them of MJ, that's probably like the most famous one, right?
That's fair.
Like,
yes,
probably one of the most famous ones that actually came out to be. I mean, you had people saying LeBron was the next Jordan. Yeah, he was maybe impact wise, sure, but definitely not on the court type of stuff. You know what I mean? So it's like, yeah, there's guys who play like certain guys because they're talented and they're playing lesser talents in college. So it's like when you mold your game after certain type of players, right? Or you looked up to certain type of players, yeah, you can have those similarities when you're playing the lesser talent, right? But like I said, when you have to have elite skills at certain things when it comes to the NBA, because when you get to the NBA, it's a whole different ball game, because now you have to adapt because they're going to scout what you do well, and they're going to make sure you have the counters to be able to counter what happens when they take away certain skills. So let's look at Mobley, for example. They said he was going to be like Chris Bosh and AD. Look, I can see why people say the AD stuff defensively. You know what I mean? He runs the floor well. He's a great rim runner, face-up type of big who's athletic, very fluid at his size. Like, it's not awkward at all the way he moves. But this is the problem. One, Mobley does not have an NBA-ready body. Like, I've told people, as much as I love Mobley, he needs 2 years to become a starting center. Like, that's why people are like, why draft Mobley if you have Jared Allen? Well, Mobley's not a starting center in the NBA. Like, he's either a reserve big or he needs to start the 4 and get minutes along Allen. Like, that's just really what it is. He has to come off the bench as a 5 or play along Jared Allen. Like, that's what it is. And number 2, with Evan Mobley, is that, man, he really, at this point in time, he can't thrive without having guards set him up. Like people have been like like going in against the Cavs for not bringing proper guards to summer league because now Mobley looks bad, and you know what I mean. And that's, if you're comparing someone to Chris Bosh and to AD,
come on,
he got
man,
a long way to go. If he like a certain type of guards in summer league to get his shit off. You know what I mean? And I love Mobley. I love his ceiling. I really think he'll be a really type of just really great, impactful big in the NBA. How high he goes, I mean, that'll be up to him. But I really think he could be a great big. I mean, like when you saw Giannis and how he came in, right, being lanky, small project, you never knew it would get to the way it is. So I'm not going to put some type of ceiling on Mobley, but he got a lot of work to do. He got a lot of work to do, and that's what at the end of the day, that's what people got to keep it real when they make these comparisons. You can say, oh yeah, it reminds me of this. He does certain things like this player. But on the flip side, you also got to keep it real about where they really are at along with their development. And, you know, a lot of people, they like to be OD with development. Like, I love Jalen Green. I said Jalen Green is my number one prospect in this draft class, right?
Okay.
I said that. But I said people need to slow down saying he's going to average 20 points per game his rookie year. This dude weighs 180 pounds and is like 6'5". Like, come on. Like, you see what the NBA
numbers don't add up.
Right, you see what the NBA does to vets like AD, you know, like to Russ's, like to all these type of guys where they wear them down. Like these guys get worn down, and these are vets who've been in the game for years, who already know how the toll is, and they still get worn out. You're talking about a rookie who hasn't played more than 40 games in one season, who's going to play 82 game season against grown men, and he weighs 180. Like, he's going to be good. He's going to average 16 to 18, but he's not like, it's going to be hard to get 20 against grown men when he has a body issues that he got to solve, and he's going to be sharing the rock. KPJ, John Wall still going to be on the team. You know what I mean? Like
numero uno, bro. Them
like,
touches.
And look, I said I like Jalen Green better than Cade long term a little bit, but I'm not. I know what it is. Cade is going to look. I think he's going to have a better rookie year than Jalen Green. I think Cade's going to have a better rookie because he has better NBA ready body off the bat, and he's going to be in a position where he's going to get more looks, get more touches. Like, you got to be real. Like, you just got to be real when you look at guys. You can say I like the long term vision. Like Kuminga, I like the long-term vision, but understanding some of the pitfalls and the obstacles that they're going to see in the immediate. Like, that's just how it is. So many people just get caught up in the prisoner moment. They're going to be great just right away. They just want to say it, get a hot take off. It's like, bro, it's possible, but if we being realistic, we understand the history of the game and how only certain guys have popped because they had all the tools from the jump, no questions asked. Like, if you don't got it like that, it's not going to be there for you, man. That's just what it is. I had people try to tell, like, I had my mutual try to tell me JG going to be like AI. Like, bro, you talk about one of the biggest anomalies in the history of the game.
Come on, man. They don't want.
Like, don't put that on Jalen Green, man. Come on. Like it's one of those things where we got, I mean, he's a Rocket fan, so I get it. You know what I mean? He's gassing his guy. It's like, when we're trying to analyze who, we got to be rational, man. We got to be rational. We got to be like, okay, this is what we, can realistically happen. If he beats that, great, but like, we gotta slow the gas down sometimes, man. Like, we be getting out of control with the young talent.
You gotta. It's exciting. It's on both ends of the spectrum. I brought up the folks that are first in line to tell you how so and so ain't gonna be shit, and then there's also the people on the other end that's gonna tell you how they are definitely about to live up to the NBA comp. So I think last thing on that point, bro, when you were getting into some of these younger players and just how they step into the game and their size and their physical dimensions, right? Everybody was how funny is that? Old man LeBron is in the league long enough to be going up against Bronny's ex-teammates. Who the hell do you think that the advantage is to there? Do you think that's to the 19-year-old? Or do you think that's to the elder statesman that's got 150 pounds in his back pocket that's just going to abuse the child, bro? Like, let's keep it real. This is an old man's game. I don't care how fat you are. I don't care how strong you are. This game is built for you to be a veteran in the playoffs, getting buckets when everything else breaks down. And this fast break shit during the regular season, that's for the young boys. That's why the Lakers signed them young boys at the end. So Kendrick Nunn and, Malik Monk and THT can just roam free in the prairie land. Playoff time, don't be surprised if you don't see them.
The Reza, the Bazemoores.
Right.
Like, them is the dudes. Like, I told people, Like, look, even if Monk starts to start the year, I'm telling you right now, Bazemore is going to start by the end of the season. Like, just accept the reality because vets win chips, and Bazemore's been in the league, and he does what needs to be done to play off Russ and Brown, who are going to have the ball like 24/7 when it comes to playoff time. Like, you just have to it's like one of those things. Like, you just have to understand when it comes time, certain traits are just going to be valued, and you just have to have certain tools to do what you need to do. That's why people need to contextualize things. You need to contextualize what's going to look like, for example, Brandon Boston. That's a guy I saw against the Lakers, man. He's great, man. Great talent, great skill set. He played when he was hurt, so his value tanked. But when he was cooking the Lakers, man, it was impressive to watch bro live. But I was watching him live now, and I've been around his players. That's a pretty thin guy. You know what I mean? There's a reason he's a project. That's a pretty thin guy. Look, Brandon Boston is not finna come in. I know he played with LeBron's son, you know what I mean, over there in Sierra Canyon, but he's not finna come in to the NBA, right, and play LeBron James and give LeBron James fits, bro. Like,
you can't even say that with a straight. There ain't no 26-year-olds that's about to give LeBron James buckets on a consistent night.
The NBA is a grown man's game, y'all, and like you really see it, right, when you in Vegas, right, and you see these young talents, bro, because like they tall for sure, but a lot of them some of them super thin, you know what I mean?
Man.
And then you see that, and then when you see the NBA body guys or some of the older summer league cats or some of the NBA guys who come in, where not only are they tall, but you know what I mean, you could tell like they've been lifting, they've been on their weight program. That's when you really see, when you're around it, you really see, yeah, NBA is a grown man's game, man. You got to be able to, when you dribble through the pick and roll, you got to be able to keep guys on your hip. You got to be able to stop guys from knocking you off your spots. Like, these things are really important for you. And you also have to be able to take the physicality of going to the cup, getting hit consistently. Like, these are things that make or break a lot of NBA guys' consistency. It's what makes or breaks guys who, you know what I mean, who lack motor and can, like, it stops them from being as effective, because in the NBA, when you have these physical guys who are going to be on you, going to be challenging you, it's like you got to be able to withstand it and also apply your own. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, look, that's the main takeaway. I think people need to realize going forward, it is a vet's game in the NBA. You know what I mean? I had one of my friends, he's or not my friends, one of my mutuals, he's hyping up his guy Cam Thomas. Hey, I like Cam Thomas. Cam Thomas got a lot of offensive game.
He looks nice.
Yep. People are thinking he's gonna be a right away contributor for the Brooklyn Nets. The Brooklyn Nets, who have Kevin
Come on, bro.
Joe Harris, Bruce Brown, Blake Griffin. You know what I mean? They're on a quest to try to win championships and beat the Lakers. Look, bro, I'm not putting Cam Thomas, a rookie, right? A late first rookie. I'm not about to put no pressure on that dude to have a significant role for a team that's with that type of talent, who's trying to win championships and is a favorite. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Calm down. I know we like certain young guys. I know we like certain.
No, he next, King. You don't understand, bro. He up next.
Calm down, man. Vets win chips. Vets win chips.
At the same time, while you have to let dudes marinate, and it doesn't matter if they're the number one pick all the way down to a second round pick, you have to let them develop into a grown-ass man. If you forgot, go look up pictures of Anthony Davis when he was drafted.
Yep.
Go look up Anthony Davis sitting at the end of the bench for that Olympic team. Now go look at Anthony Davis now. AD still deals with injuries, right? And that man damn near got a Superman physique right now. How you can expect dudes that are 6 to 8 inches shorter than him to come in and start dominating. And I love Ja Morant. I love everything about that boy. I'd say he's part of that anomaly group that just comes in his frame and his body type and does what he does on a night-to-night basis. What does he have? Athleticism that is very, very hard to replicate in this league. So
abnormal athleticism, and he still struggled to touch 20 a night at his rookie season, because, like I said, that body, it was hard, man. It was hard. It was physical with him, but he has abnormal athleticism. He kept working at it, and he's getting better every year. But to your point, I will give these two examples, because I like both these guys, especially this number one guy, Wiggins. Man, I swore to you he was up next. we all know what happened. And then Ben Simmons, man, I love his tools. I still love his physical tools. But you see what happens. What happens when you don't
I love
develop
Ben
certain
too,
aspects
man.
of your game. Like this is why we have to say we have to slow down. We have to slow down. We have to let guys get better. We have to let guys be good. Because look, Jalen Green, he gets an NBA body with his skill set, the way he dribbles, with the way he scores. I could easily see this guy at some point in the league averaging 30 a night because he's that skilled. But what if he doesn't try to get that body? What if he doesn't keep trying to improve at that level? You know what I mean? Now all of a sudden he's a 22 to 24 type of guy who's kind of inefficient because he hasn't put in everything he needs to put in to being, the Kobe's, to being the even the Clydes, the Wades, where you have to come in, be put the work in the gym.
Obsessive, man.
The work in, and when I mean in the gym, I mean both on the court and with the weights. Like every aspect of the gym, you have to put the work in. So, like, do they have these projections? Yes, they do. They have the foundation, but they have to build on it. And people don't understand. Everybody doesn't build on it the way they should. Like when people think it's just easy to get, if you have a certain foundation to get as good as LeBron, to get as good as certain guys, but it's like, and I talked to, Laker exec, my guy, great guy I met, VP guy, I'm not gonna say his name, but
right.
Dude, but he told me about, LeBron work ethic. This guy is really first in, like he be working out before people even wake up. You know what I mean? LeBron doesn't
They're not rumors. They're not rumors. It's not made up fairy tales.
It's really not. And LeBron's not the guy who pubs this out to the public. Like LeBron doesn't pub his work ethic as part of his brand, but he really does it. Like LeBron really just does it when it comes to working out. And that's why he demands so much and he's so hard on guys he plays with, because that's the type of effort he's putting in. He really has a Mamba mentality for work ethic. So that's why it's hilarious when you see these trolls and all these LeBron haters trying to say all this nonsense. Like, you guys have no idea what actually goes on when you step and you be around these guys and you are around these NBA players. You guys have no idea what's actually going on. You're just going off what, people who are trying to brand themselves in the media are saying and all that. But it's different when you know what I mean. And that's why Summer League is a great experience, because you kind of see up close and personal how, man, like, to get to this level, you really have to be an anomaly, bro. Like, you really have a different level of appreciation when you're around the guys and how they look, and you're seeing them play live, trying to make a name for themselves. You really get an appreciation of, man, to be at the top and to work, you really have to want it. So, I mean, just hearing that about Bron from a Lakers person who's deep in the operations room with him, like, that's just all I need to know. I mean, you don't get to that level without real work, man. You just can't.
It's literally what's the phrase? Creme de la creme. There's the cream of the cream. You get to the league, you're that top 1%. Those players that are looked at as the number one options on a championship team, that's a whole different stratosphere. Even from the guys that's getting 6th Man of the Year awards, even the guys that's even a starter on the court, sharing time, being a complimentary piece. The gap in superstar, in role player, in bench warmer, and G League player, in overseas guys and college athletes. Folks have no idea,
man,
how much of gaps there are between each level in that. It is disgusting. And I think if they did, the trolling would come down significantly. You're just across the board, because I know for me, man, I got in and out with my GOAT's career pretty much out of the social media era in Kobe. Like, Kobe obviously was a different dude at the end of his time. So, the trolling and all that shit, it hit different. Lakers are already starting to get in their nosedive for the next couple of years. So when you look at, how much you have to be obsessed about the game of basketball, man, to have 5-year career, 10-year career, 15-year career, 20-year career. Do you know how many all NBAs LeBron James has, man?
I think
first team.
I think in total, I mean, in first teams, what he got, like 15 or something like that, or I mean, I know for all NBA, I think he's gotten it every year of his career except his rookie year. Like
I don't even need to look up shit
ridiculous.
else besides that. That is all you need to know. And we'll wrap that topic up there. Real quick, King, I didn't have this on the docket today. I got a couple quick fire questions for you, but I do need to pick your brain real quick, brother. The Lakers have another superstar in the building that they brought in Russell Westbrook, who, again, is another guy that I don't care what your opinion is about him. You can't question his love for the game. You can't question his mentality. You can't question his intensity every single basketball game. Real quick, just talk to me about the fit, bro. LeBron, AD, Russ. Are you concerned about shooting now that the Lakers have, for the most part, finished out their roster? Are you concerned about the shooting portion of Russell Westbrook in the playoffs when it's time to, start winning series and winning a championship?
I'm not worried about the shooting around the stars because I think the Lakers did as best as you can get with that. I mean, you have a guy with like Ariza. I mean, that's just like it. When it comes to 3-and-D wings, I mean, look, it don't get better than Ariza. I know people are gonna say he was washed because he's been up and down with his 3-ball offensively. You know what I mean? But I mean, he still hits at a pretty high rate on good volume, so 36% for the type of defense he's bringing. I mean, look, and you got that on the minimum. Look, you can't really complain, bro. Like, because his defense is still there. Like, Ariza can still sit, and he got that length to bother. I mean, if you're talking about a type of defender that you need to have for Kevin Durant, I mean, it's not much better you can find than Trevor Ariza and having on the floor and him, being able to knock down some threes here.
That's such a good point, man.
So look,
that's why the Heat got him, right? The Heat got him to guard KD. Unfortunately, he didn't get to that point.
Right, but hey, look, Heat gave the Bucks some hell. You know what I mean? That was Giannis' worst series statistically. There was a lot of the role guys for the Bucks were just shooting lights out.
That's right.
But in terms of the stars for the Bucks, I mean, they were fighting. The Heat was guarding them well, but salute to the Bucks role players, to Bryn Forbes. You know what I mean? They came out and they started lighting it up. So, but hey, Ariza, top-notch signing. Then you get a guy like Bazemore, who's always been a solid 3-point shooter throughout his time in the NBA, at the 35% threshold and above. Last year he shot 40. Granted, it was no fan, so I'm not gonna take too much of that. But he's played enough in the NBA where you can see this is a guy who can hit the three. He hustles well on defense. Now, look, Warriors fans are complaining about his IQ. Yes, if you're asking Bazemore to make decisions like Steve Kerr's offense, which requires smart vets to do because of motion offense that allows Steph to roam off ball to have other guys create. Yes, Bazemore's going to look trash in that because he's not a good decision maker. But if you have alphas, alpha ball handlers like LeBron James, like Russell Westbrook, you're not asking Bazemore to do anything but get spoon-fed threes and play defense. And guess what? Everybody can agree that's two things Bazemore does good. That's why he's in the NBA. You know what I mean? So look, that's just what it is. He fits the role that the Lakers has. That's why I say you need to have things that you can do well that you're going to be able to keep you in the league for. That's what Bazemore does. Good signing, period, point blank. That's it. Period, point blank. He fits the role. Then you go and you look at the Monks, the Nuns. I mean, those are the young guys, right? Monk had a 40% year. You think you're thinking to yourself, is that a fluke or not? Because the previous years he shot 32 and 33%, but he's young. So him shooting 40%, it might be he just got better. We'll see going next forward. But it's a nice young guy who can have some type of different type of scoring chops. He can score off the ball, off the dribble, and he can shoot based off last year. So it's a nice gamble to take on the minimum. Then you give your MLE to Nunn. Nunn is a guy 2 years with the Heat, 15 plus points per game. He shot 38% from three with fans, without fans. So you don't have to question, can he hit his three? Yes, he can hit his threes. He has that capability. He showed that in both environments. Another great signing. You got a guy who's probably going to make $10 million per year, and you got him for $5 million. Perfect signing, period, point blank. Then you get your Dwight Howard to keep your interior up. One of the issues we had was our interior defense was lacking without AD. You got Dwight back. He's going to keep the interior physical intimidation going all throughout. So I think, man, given how they got Russ, a lot of people were complaining. Look, you can't complain how Rob finished that after the Russ trade. I mean, that was spectacular job. Like I'm kind of excited to see how it looks because look, when they trade for us, I was like, I don't
Yeah,
know.
right. Especially
I
after
don't
that
know.
buddy stuff. I was talking
Yeah,
about that with
I don't know.
Unwritten Rules, Raj, and I
But
was just like, it got a little dicey right there with the whole little back and forth between Shams and Woj, and then we saw the rest of the dominoes, and to all the folks that aren't in the knee-jerk reaction business, you knew another shoe had to drop.
had to. And like for me, after I saw the day one free agent signings, I was like, oh man, I think Rob's off to a great start. I told people were still mad with the Caruso stuff and all that.
Right.
First of all, I warned people in the regular season this was going to happen. So for me, and people are like, oh, why are you so hard Caruso? It's like, no, I'm not hard Caruso. I like Caruso for what he is and what he brings. A lot of other people have projected onto Caruso other things that I think are not there, that I didn't see that was there, right? And that the front office didn't see that was there for them to pay $40 million in tax hit to have to retain.
Shit.
You know what I mean? So it's like, you know what I mean? So it's like, bro, that's just what it is. Like, look, I understand that you don't want to count, you don't want to take
count billionaires' money. Yeah, I'm in the same group.
I understand. You just like, well, whatever, just spend the money. Like, look, but like y'all understand, front offices, it's a business NBA. Like, yeah, keep Caruso if you want to win. Absolutely. Like that would just be one of the best things to do. But I understand it's a business. And again, going back to this Lakers exec, you know what I mean? Just want to put it out there. The Lakers don't really got money like that. Like in terms, I talk about when you look at the liquid assets in terms of can you just write a check whenever this isn't Dolan, this isn't Bomber, you know what I'm saying? This isn't Lake Up, you know what I mean, who could play $300 million in luxury tax every year, even though his team isn't even making the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they don't got money like that, bro. Like it's Jeannie splitting that revenue with her family, you know what I mean? And that's her only source of income, mainly.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like it's different. You know what I mean? So it's like in their eyes, like, can Caruso is he really worth 50 mil or can we find somebody who can replicate some at least like 75% of that?
I can't even say that without laughing, bro.
You know what I mean? It's like you gotta understand the business that the Lakers were looking at with their free agent. It's like, look, we got 3 stars. We got 3 MVP caliber guys. Regardless of how you feel about Russell Westbrook, this is a top 20 player in the NBA. This is one of the greats of our era, period, point blank. He's a polarizing player, but he's one of the greats of our era. That's just the bottom line. So you have 3 of those guys. It's like, and you scored on your vet signings. All in all, Laker fans, I think you need to be happy. I think with the Lakers, though, going forward and with this year, this is the real key for the Lakers. And I think this is kind of the sentiment a lot of folks behind the Lakers is feeling, in the front office. It's on AD. Like it's really on Anthony Davis to come in and show he's an all-time great. You kind of like what you saw Giannis just do as the league guy. Like AD has to be that every year. You know what I mean? Every year, like, because AD had a great run in 2020. I'm not going to take that off from him. People want to say that, oh, well, he was a number 2. It was a 1A, 1B type of thing. Like, yes, I'll say that because LeBron's the playmaker, you know what I mean? It went through him, and he was setting up most of the other guys up. But AD was the anchor defensively.
Don't matter. Shaq wasn't the playmaker.
You know what I mean? AD was the anchor defensively. AD was getting his offensively. You know what I mean? AD was fantastic, but AD has to be that every year. That's the thing, AD. He has to do that every single season. That's the thing. He has to bring it every single time. So there's rumors that he might start at the 5. The way the Lakers have constructed this roster, he kind of has to start at the 5.
I mean, talk about it. I mean, unless Marc Gasol, unless they doing the whole AD Marc Gasol game. And again, I would not put that past Frank Vogel saying, hey, no, we're going to do the whole AD at the 5. Just don't expect that to start games. But no,
Marc Gasol cannot start in the NBA, bro. Like Marc Gasol is not a starting 5 in the NBA. Like he couldn't even get more than 12 minutes on his Spaniard international team, bro. Like Marc Gasol is not at that point. It's almost like the Lakers just got reserve bigs and they said, look, we got Westbrook. And you know what I mean? The only way this is going to work is if we go one big and we have a bunch of other floor spacing type players around him. Like this is the only way this is going to be maximized with Russell Westbrook. And if you heard the reports at the dinner, AD and LeBron, and I think this is the key point I think folks keep missing with this statement. They said we will make a position change. They didn't just say, oh, we will play this more, like, AD was saying before. Like, AD said, oh, I'll play the 5 when we need to. AD and LeBron said, we will make a position change.
I missed that. I missed that part.
That's what they said. So that's why I'm holding that to them, because they said they'll change their position. So when you hear talk like that, and then you see what Rob did in the free agency, in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, it's go time. You know what I mean? It's go time right now, because you got a lot of these guards. You got some wings that you have to play. The only way that minutes distribution is really going to make sense in an effective manner is if AD starts at the 5. Like, literally, that's really the only way this makes sense, because if you start putting, Gasol and Dwight 24 minutes, is like, why are Nunn and Monk getting reduced minutes to play Gasol? You know what I mean?
That didn't even sound right with you saying that. 24 minutes between the two of them. That sounds disgusting.
Exactly. It's like, that just don't make no sense. Like, that don't make any sense. Hey, like I said, it's on AD. We're going to see. But in terms of putting a contender, you can't look at me and say any team in the West is better than the Lakers. Like, you just can't. Like, I don't care what you think about Russell Westbrook. Period, point blank, the talent the Lakers got right now, they are going to be problems for the West. Like, people are saying they're going to be rock stars. This is a rock star type of team right now. I mean, you could just see it with Russell, with Brody on the team. The energy is different. You know what I mean? The vibe is different in LA with Basketball Talk.
I can't wait,
all the reaching for straws critiques already on the top.
What's the biggest issue? What's the biggest issue to the Lakers Rockets? They say they too old. They too old. Second oldest team in the NBA behind the Brooklyn Nets.
Because
who are, I don't know if y'all checked, the number 1 team to win the NBA championship next year. I know the Lakers' best player, LeBron James, he is starting to get up there. I understand that you think that the additions of Trevor Ariza and company might be a little bit over the hill. I get the Brody just inherited slander that this man still isn't getting triple doubles every fucking game and led the Washington Wizards to the playoffs. I don't think folks wanted to give him any credit for that, man.
They didn't, but he did it, because look, the Wizards were in hell. The Wizards were in hell when he was in hell. The Wizards were
the
in
Lakers
hell
JV roster, Siberia Lakers.
Like when those guys were dealing with COVID and all that, it was bad. But when Russ got healthy and he started doing what Russ does, boom, next you know, they stringing off wins. And now they're in a playoff series. You know what I mean? So it's like, look, y'all, I get it though. Russ has his issues as the guy, in the playoff series. I get it.
Yes, we know that. We get that.
Yeah, he's also had his issues as a number 2. I get it. But guess what? As a number 2, he was in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the finals with KD and Harden. They ran, Harden and them, they ran San Antonio off the floor. You know what I mean? They were in the Western Conference Finals almost yearly when they was healthy with that team, with Russ and KD. You know what I mean? They were 3-1 on Golden State. And people want to blame Russ. You can also blame another guy, you know what I mean, who has some responsibility for that series. You know what I mean? If you want to get to the numbers in that film, we can go look at that game 6. We can go look at that whole game. So look, let's talk about it, y'all. Even as a number 2, he was on competitive teams that were winning when he was a second option. Now he's going.
We ain't never seen this version of Russ before.
Third option. Russell Westbrook as a second option was in the Western Conference Finals, was in the finals. Now he's a third option. You don't think you can have some success?
Come on, man.
Like let's stop. Like, I think it's just too much of people decontextualizing things. They're looking at what he did as the first option, and they're saying, well, he can't work because this is how he was the first option, but then completely ignoring how he was as a second option and how much success OKC had, and not understanding that not only will he have more of that role, but now he even be lesser because he's a third option and he's playing with LeBron James. You know what I mean? And now they have better talent around the margins than those OKC Thunder teams had offensively. You know what I mean? So it's like, stop it, y'all. Like, look at the context. I get it though. Polarizing, Brody, Bron, clutch, Lakers hate. But
context is dead, brother. Context is dead. And in the environment that we trap off of, our block of source is twitter.com. We know the context business is, when you sprinkle a little context in your tweets, all of a sudden your followers go up 150 at a time. It's crazy. You tweet like a dumbass, you might get a couple here and there that you might get the retweets, but once you actually add a level of thinking in 220 characters, that's when folks are like, oh wow, imagine that. You brought up a great point in Russell Westbrook being the third option. Well, no shit, it's never happened before. We're about to see it. You want to talk about Showtime Lakers? I'm not saying this is about to be the Steve Nash, Dwight Howard. This is going to be fun on the cover of Sports Illustrated. I'm just saying Russell Westbrook is a spark plug. He is a guy that is in his athletic prime still. You put him together with a top 2 player in the NBA in LeBron James, top 3. I'll give you 3.
Great to elite athleticism at this age. I mean, you talk about how elite LeBron as an athlete. You're talking about in his prime, this was one of one in the history of sports.
He's come back down to join the rest of humans.
Yeah, he's come down to, I'm elite in the NBA. I'm just not, all time in all sports.
How stupid is that? The man came back down to say, yes, I'm now arguably a top 3 player in the league. Fine. You get that from me, all right? Then you got Anthony Davis, where I know you saw the slander train this offseason of AD, and would you rather have Rudy Gobert or Anthony Davis? I almost deleted my account. I almost deleted my fucking Twitter app, and I've done a lot of work to build up this little profile so we could have conversations like this for the masses. But folks talking that much out their ass. And I don't even think it's out of the state of Utah. It is just the trolls under the bridge, just the troll that Anthony Davis all of a sudden is now not one of your top 3 big men in the NBA. It's preposterous. It's and I want to say it's borderline racist, but that's a combo for another podcast, brother.
Look, Ricky, bro. I get it. If he playing the 4, I get why you say, oh, it's not that good. But hey, I'm gonna tell y'all right now. Go turn on 2018 New Orleans Pelicans Anthony Davis and watch that brother at the center spot. If that brother comes to the Lakers in 2021 to 2022 season, a lot of y'all teams is in trouble. Like,
come on, man.
If that's the AD they gonna get at the 5 spot, you have no answer for that man running up and down the court in the pick and roll game, finishing in traffic, and you have Westbrook and LeBron throwing those lobs to him. Yeah, hey. You better pray he still wants to play the 4, because if he want to play the 5, y'all are in trouble. That's all I gotta say.
We'll see y'all in the Western Conference Finals. We'll just start there. All right.
Basically, bro, who's challenging these dudes, man? Because they're your best bet. Kawhi, he rehabbing. So you know what I'm saying. And then your dark horse contender, right, has another rehab prospect in Jamal Murray. So
those are the only 2. I'm sorry. I will move to Utah. I will move to Salt Lake City, Utah. Man. If I ever see with these 2 eyeballs in my life, LeBron James get knocked out of the playoffs by Rudy Gobert. All right. Man. Y'all had y'all last laugh as a Utah fan base with the Lakers when Kobe, had his struggles and airballed his couple of playoff jumpers, right? That is the last time until God says, I need to meet you, Ricky, face to face, that y'all will ever see any playoff success against the purple and gold. So I'm just going to end the podcast right there. Get that shit out your mind, all right? There are 2 teams that were up for discussion. The bitch-ass Clippers, they are now out of the running. Kawhi, I hope you get better. I hope you recover, man. You got that 4-year deal. At least to me, it sounds like you're a little bit concerned about these injuries starting to pile up because, if you were still feeling good and froggy about yourself and Uncle Dennis, you would have did the 1-for-1. But that's not my problem to solve, brother. And then Jamal Murray, y'all will be there. We acknowledge Denver's got a core that's going to be in the conversation for a very long time. But today, on August the 15th, year of our Lord 2021, put some money up if you think the Lakers ain't going to be in the NBA Finals, and we'll just leave it there, man.
Look, y'all. Luka Doncic is not going to beat LeBron James in the playoff series, and Anthony Davis and Westbrook. That's not happening. Number 2, Phoenix wouldn't even been in the finals if AD didn't go down.
Don't get me started there.
Whatever game he went down in. So that's just another point. So look, period, point blank, we get all this hate, all this Russell Westbrook's going to crash and burn, blah, blah, blah. But after the All-Star games, after the All NBA votings, after all that, everybody's gonna be like, well, they have 3 Hall of Famers, they have 3
Right.
MVP ball players, they have 3 All-Star players, 3 All NBA guys. This is a super team. Like, so all this talk, all this hating, I get it. It's just to play both sides of the fence. Because if the Lakers win, you're gonna say, well, you should have won. And the Lakers lose, it'll be ha ha ha, how did you lose with all this talent? Doesn't move me, fellas. Doesn't move me. Like Ricky said, like the boy Floss says on Timeline, put the money up, shut up. That's just really what it is.
Shout out Floss Sports. Brody, Kings, this was amazing, man. I don't know about you, man. This is one of my favorite interviews that I've had on Work for Our Sponsors. Thank you for hopping on the show, man. Hope we can do it again soon.
Hey, man, this was good, man. It's always good to talk hoop, and especially in the mood I'm at, man. Fresh off the Summer League, man. Hey, man, it's been a great environment for me with hoop, and I've just been blessed with Maples and them, and just how we've been able to take this hoop stuff and just really have fun with it and do something cool with it. Like, it's just been great, man.
Absolutely, bro. Real quick, Temple of Hoops podcast. Obviously, you can check that out wherever you get your podcast. Where can they follow you at personally?
You can follow me at ItsKingsBruh, or you can also follow my other co-host, the brains behind it, JJ Maples 55. You probably already seen him already. The man himself. Go ahead and give us a follow and check out the pod if you haven't already.
Absolutely. Again, the Kings, thank you so much for coming on the show. Word from our sponsors. We will check in with y'all guys next week. Enjoy your week.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap.